They run a dun a dun dun dun. They run that black on black crime script on every channel every night like it's the only story that exists. But white on white crime fills up suburb precincts, and they never call it a culture, never call it a crisis. Chinese on Chinese crime happens in every city too, but the news don't make it a hashtag, don't make it a think piece. Yeah. Microscope on the hood, telescope on the boardroom. They zoom in on us but blur out the ones who wrote the rules. The trap was set before we was born. Redlining, school funding gaps, jobs shipped out, then they blame us for the void. They point at my brother's mugshot, point at my sister's tone. Call her loud, call her messy, make that the whole narrative. But they don't point at zoning laws, don't point at sentencing gaps, don't point at who profits when the prisons stay full. System built the cage, oiled the hinges, then acted shocked when we pressed against the bars they welded shut. Racism watchdog alliance, we the watchdogs on the scene. Ain't here to demonize our own for their machine. You wanna talk crime, then talk policy. Talk power, talk who wrote the codes that made poverty a sentence. It's not black versus black, it's us versus the design. And we see through the lens now, we magnify the lies. We don't accept the frame they painted, we redraw the picture. Every line we spit is breaking down their fixture. Black man's record gets paraded front page, prime time. They slow-mo the perp walk like it's entertainment. Especially when he's with the white woman, now the story shifts. Now it's intertwined, now it's scandal, now it's shame. Use them for ratings, lose them to the cell, then shame them on panels. Talking personal responsibility, but they won't ask who flooded the streets, who cut the after-school programs, who made survival a crime in the first place. They call the black woman loud when she demands to be heard, call her messy when she refuses to shrink for comfort. But they don't call the system messy when it mislabels, misleads, miscalculates our lives like we're data points. They want us to police each other so we never look up, never look at who owns the cameras, who owns the script. Every community violence segment is a distraction from the policy violence that came first and stays longest. Racism watchdog alliance, we the watchdogs on the scene. Ain't here to demonize our own for their machine. You wanna talk crime, then talk policy. Talk power, talk who built the cage, then sold tickets to the show. It's not black versus black, it's us versus the design. We see through the lens now, we calling out the lies. We ain't the problem in the equation, we the ones who've been solving it while they add new variables to the math. Don't come with no fix your own from the same hands that tied the rope and then blamed us for the knot. They wrote the laws, cut the budgets, closed the plans, then asked the prize when survival gets creative. They'll air 100 stories about one black man's mistake, but 0 stories about the legislation that made the mistake profitable. They'll say black men in criminal history, like history started at booking, like there was no before to the charge. But history started with laws that targeted banks, that denied schools, that underfunded, and they measured the damage and blamed us for the measurement. Called it culture, called it nature, called anything but what it is, engineering. Every time a black man with the white woman trends, they use it to push fear, push division, push this is the issue, but they won't show who benefits when we fight each other. Instead of reading the fine print, they hid in the racism watchdog alliance, we the watchdogs on the scene. Ain't here to demonize our own for their machine. You wanna talk crime, then talk policy. Talk power, talk who profits off the divide, then calls it social science. It's not black versus black, it's us versus the design. And we see through the lens now, we breaking down the lies. We watch, we record, we don't forget. System's the issue when we putting it on blast till the truth cuts through. They set up the camera, post the relationship abuse. Comment section wide open like a trap with no views. Racist white accounts rolled in, no profile pic, no face. Calling us animals, jungle out our name and our place. And he sits there, platform big, lets it run rapid. Don't delete, don't check it, just watch as the damage get added. Thinks he's the star child, the one they clap for, while they use his page to demonize the people he came from. That's coonery in real time, that's giving them the stage. Hand the microphones to hate so they can spit on our page. We don't take kindly to that, We don't take kindly to raccoons running around acting like they helping the cause, when all they doing is baiting, bringing more racist voices out the woodwork to talk about us like we lost. He thinks staying with a white woman means he got protection, means the hate won't touch him, but they still typing with aggression, calling us out our names.